Most of the Columbia, South Carolina exchanges begin with 7, and they go through in the following manner. The director pulse repeats the first digit dialed always, and if you dial a 7, it pulse repeats it, and then drops out and leaves the call up. So you then dial the last 6 digits into the ESS tandem. Now I'm going to dial the 771 and 799 office, which, by the way, is the ESS tandem.
Columbia is a Southern Bell city that is almost all crossbar 5. It's got that one ESS, which is the tandem from here, and we actually just dialed one call to each of the 2 office codes which are used for regular customers that begin with 7 in that ESS. Now, the ringtone sounded different from one call to the next, and really it shouldn't sound any different. It's just that we happened to get a lousier T-carrier trunk on the first call than the second. You can hear the difference. That's the same ringtone over 2 different generations of T-carrier. 2nd generation, 4th generation. The ESS downtown probably used to be a step, and I think it probably had city ring because when I dialed 11 into one of the trunks,
Telephone repair service, may I have the phone number you're reporting, please?
Oh, repair service got you by mistake.
Okay.
I went through just after 711.
Columbia Repair Service was the only place where I found city ring in the entire local calling area. You might expect to find city ring on the Intercept concentrator in Columbia, but that seems to get its ring from the crossbar 5 in the downtown building. Here's a call to the downtown crossbar 5 that happens to go to Intercept. The ring you hear before the recording comes on is the ring of this office.
Many telephone numbers in the greater Columbia area have been changed. Please consult your new directory or you may stay on the line and an operator will assist you. This is a recording.
Calling other numbers around Columbia and getting Intercept, you often hear that same crossbar 5 type ring just before the operator comes on. Here's a call to a crossbar 5 in Columbia that has pseudo-modern ring like this. But then after the recording, we go right back to the downtown crossbar 5 ring, which serves the Intercept concentrator itself.
Many telephone numbers in the Greater Columbia area have been changed. Please consult your new directory or you may stay on the line and an operator will assist you. This is a recording.
For the 639, what number you dial?
738-1098.
738-1098 is not a working number.
Thank you.
Welcome.
The centralized intercept recording in Columbia has a familiar voice. This.
I'm sorry, we're unable to complete your call as dialed. Please check the number and dial again or ask your operator for assistance. This is a recording, 8032.
Many telephone numbers in the Greater Columbia area have been changed.
Actually, numbers that have been changed are not supposed to go to that recording. They're supposed to go directly to the operator, as in this next example. We're calling a number 5 crossbar that has pseudo-modern ring, which trips, and then the ring from the downtown Intercept concentrator takes over.
For 533, what number you dial?
781-1212.
781-1212.
Mm-hmm.
Dial that number again.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Columbia, South Carolina is sort of like Maryland, not especially interesting. I dialed every code that began with 7, and with few exceptions, what I was hearing was... predominantly crossbar 5, more pseudo-modern rings than Maryland. Like Maryland, I did encounter some Centrex service. Centrex CO is a service provided by the Bell system, where either a crossbar 5, number 1 ESS, or number 2 ESS pretends to be a PBX. And you can direct dial the telephones at the business from the outside world. Here is a recording in a crossbar 5 office that has at least 2 organizations for which it provides Centrex CO. That was the real ring tripping, and we're on a recording arrangement that waits in silence for the recording to get around to the beginning.
The number you have dialed is not in service. If you need assistance for state government, dial 758-0221. For the university, dial 777-0411. This is a recording. The number you have dialed is not in service. If you need assistance for state government, dial 758-0221. For the university, dial 777-0411. This is a recording. The number you have dialed...
Centrex CU is a similar service from the Bell system, except this time they use an actual private branch exchange. I discovered one in Columbia. The PBX is STEP or Stromberg XY, and it has a dedicated office code in the downtown ESS, which inaudibly dial pulses to the PBX.
Jackson recording. The number you have reached is not a working number. Please consult your directory for the correct number or dial the Fort Jackson information operator. Thank you. This is the Fort Jackson recording. The number you have reached is not a working number. Please consult your directory for the correct number or dial the Fort Jackson information operator. Thank you. This is the Fort Jackson recording.
There were only 3 office codes in Columbia that served the downtown ESS for regular customers and a 4th for the Fort Jackson Centrex. Everything else was crossbar 5 except 755, which was number 2 ESS. Number 2 ESS does this. That distinctive triple tick is heard when it goes to centralized intercept and also if a call is being forwarded through a number 2 ESS. Here is an operator intercept number in this 755 number 2 ESS where something odd was going on with the intercept trunk.
Operator 524, what number did you dial?
755-1111.
755-1111 is not working.
Thank you.
Operator 524, what number did you dial?
771-8131.
771-8131 is working. Try it again.
Okay.
That probably would have gone on indefinitely. There was something wrong with the trunk from the 755 number 2 ESS to the intercept concentrator. That trunk to the intercept concentrator was malfunctioning, causing it to reset like that. But what's also interesting is that every time it did reset, the number 2 ESS actually went momentarily off hook to us. That happened here.
Thank you.
And also here.
Try it again.
Okay.
Did you hear that? It actually flashed answer supervision to us. Why? Well, there is no circumstance under which a number 2 ESS wants to pass an answer signal, reversed or otherwise, to the caller who's getting intercept. So the number 2 ESS is at least partly to blame for this odd phenomenon. It could be that the trunk was set up with a wrong parameter in the number 2 ESS. Another possibility is that there is something electromechanically wrong with the trunk at the other end, and its odd behavior has exposed a pre-existing bug in the number 2 ESS. Okay, so we've gone through all the 7s. They were fairly monotonous and not really using the register sender because when you dial 7, that digit gets repeated into the switching train, which puts you into the tandem, and then the register sender just drops out. And there you are, dialing the last 6 digits into one of those T-carrier trunks, and some sound better than others. So the 7s are explained, but Columbia has just a few office codes beginning with 25, and those have to go through some other way. Let's call the time of day number in Columbia, which is a 252 number. I'm going to dial 25. I dialed 25, and the register sender first reset the switching train to clear out that 2 that I dialed, and then dialed 835. So 25 becomes 835. Now as I dial the rest of the number, Now it's just repeating each digit I dial after I dial it. When I dial the last digit, the register sender will repeat it and drop out, leaving us on familiar T-carrier.
Standard Savings brings you this time service 24 hours a day. Time 10:57.
So how does this work? Well, one thing you can tell right off the bat after you dial the number is that is the sound of a number 1 ESS tandem. In fact, it's the same tandem as we were getting on 7, but that same ESS switch appears in another spot, 8-3.
The reason the ESS office appears on 8-3 is because some of the codes in Columbia begin with 2. For those that begin with 7, the customer dials a 7, the director pulse repeats it and drops, and then the customer dials the last 6 digits into the ESS tandem. For the exchanges beginning with 2, there's a separate set of trunks which are wired to take the digits they get as if there were a 2 dial. 8-3 is what they use when calling 2 codes. 7 is what they use when calling 7 codes.
So what we see on 8-3 is the same tandem, but it's a different trunk group to that tandem. The 8-3 trunk group interprets everything you dial into it as the last 6 digits of a phone number beginning with 2. So that 252 number, that's the time in Columbia, we can reach by dialing 359 to drop the register sender. Now 8-3 to go into the Columbia ESS tandem in 2 mode. And now the last 6 digits of that 252 time number.
Standard Savings brings you this time service 24 hours a day. Time 10:59.
Here's a call to 252 to just a regular number. It answered fairly quickly, and I didn't keep the answer on tape. When I dial 252, the register sender will dial 8352. From what's left on the tape there, that might have been a phone company free number that answered. Maybe the switch room. The downtown ESS has a third regular office code, 254, and obviously it has to go through differently from the other codes we found that begin with 7. Here's dialing 254, and you'll hear the register sender dialing 8354. It has to reset the switching train, by the way, while I'm dialing that 4. If I had slowed down, we would have heard it. Well, that pretty much covers Lexington. I didn't put complete calls to all the crossbar 5s because that would have been too Maryland-like. But anyway, there's one confession that I need to make before I close out this little group of programs, and that is that this recording...
Many telephone numbers in the greater Columbia area have been changed. Please consult your new directory or you may stay on the line and an operator will assist you. This is a recording.
...was driving me crazy because the way she announced it is not the way she intended to announce it. Now what you hear here,
Please consult your new directory or you may stay on the line and an operator will assist you.
is the way she intended. But the way she really said it was,
Please consult your new directory or you may stay on the line and an operator will assist you. This is a recording.
and as I was putting this program together, it was driving me nuts.
You may stay on the line, you may stay on the line, you may stay on the line.
So I fixed it.
You may stay on the line and an operator will assist you.
So the historically accurate version is
You may stay on the line.
that. I think I fixed it in the long distance series as well, and then forgot that I'd done it, so I ended up not saying anything. Anyway, the next stop is an unexpected one. A Bell System payphone out in the middle of nowhere.